Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first inaugural StoryArc podcast. I'm Scott, your host tonight. If you're an avid fan of the blog, you'll recognize me as someone unrecognizable. I'm joined by two of our actual writers, Dre.
Hello. Hi.
And Luke.
Wow, it's me. Hello.
How are you gentlemen doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I rewatched a bunch of ads for a show I'm doing, so that was pretty fun.
Ads are not fun. That's all I was saying.
I had a great time.
I am dealing with the burden of Adobe at the moment.
The burden of it.
So, since I'm no longer a college student right now, I am trying to just get rid of all the my Adobe subscriptions, and they're really forcing me to do a early cancellation fee.
Well, I'm sure it's not that much.
Yeah, only $150 altogether. And it's I get charged for it this weekend. So, oh man, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. My school never had an Adobe plan until after COVID happened. Prior to COVID, I already owned Photoshop, Premiere, and all that.
That's whack. Don't you get a student discount? I remember I got a student discount. Even my community college gives me a student discount for.
I do think I have a student plan, but I don't think I'm seeing. I think it was only for Photoshop, possibly.
Oh,
I'm pretty confident that my school does not offer. I'm pretty confident my school does not offer a student plan. Although I'm pretty sure we're getting it for free now, or in a year after I graduate, or some nonsense.
Yeah,
fucking whack.
As soon as I can't take advantage of it, basically they saw me.
I just realized I didn't ask. Can we swear on this podcast?
Is there swearing in articles?
No, slurs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, on brand. It's all about staying on brand.
It's the first episode. It's new. It's jazz. It's rock and roll. It's all off.
Yeah, nothing's off limits except for the.
Yeah.
Only rule is follow the rules.
Yeah.
So these are things that are frustrating. But what have you been enjoying as of late, both of you?
Well, enjoyment is not how I would say, but it was a fun time because I finally got around to watching the Artemis Fowl movie.
How was that?
What do you think? It was a piece of garbage.
Oh, so rude.
So I assumed this movie was going to be released in theaters from the start.
Sure.
Well, obviously, because I don't know if you guys heard, there's a pandemic going on.
I didn't. I heard something about it.
But it got released on Disney Plus for the entire masses to watch at the comfort of their homes. And it's is profoundly poor.
Would you say that it turns the comfort of your home into an uncomfortable home?
There was quite a bit of discomfort.
Profoundly poor should be on the poster that no one would see because no one's going to theaters.
Well, first of all, it's not accurate because he's a rich kid.
So I never read the books growing up. They changed a lot of the books. But since I never read the books, I was never affected by these problems. But in turn, that makes me the most unbiased person here. Because I just viewed it as an actual movie. And it was
a perfect critic.
You're right.
I'm the perfect critic.
No opinions of your own.
Unfortunately, it has gosh gad, yeah.
Gosh gad.
Gosh gad, why are you in this shit?
When he achieves his holy form, he becomes gosh gad.
No, Josh Gad's in it as a horrifying troll. Judi Dench is in it, only in her second worst movie. First being Cats.
Oh.
She was in Cats?
Yeah, so I kind of, sort of, a little bit like the movie Cats.
Sure.
But she's horrifying in that still.
I'm looking her up. Judi Dench Cat is not a fun Google search.
Oh no!
I would assume that Judi Dench Cat would give you her cat.
You would assume poorly.
I don't want to delve too much into Artemis Fowl, obviously, but I will say because it's being ripped apart. Like it's basically this year's Wrinkle in Time or Percy Jackson.
Maybe they should just stop turning paper into film.
And it's like there's no way this was ever going to succeed if it got released in theaters. Like it was doomed from the start.
I remember I was low-key rooting for this movie because I remember getting into a conversation with a fan of Artemis Fowl, like the books, who was like, this has nothing to do with the books. It's going to be trash. And I said, well, like, that's not necessarily the case. Like, you know, and then I did the smart person thing where you bring out, oh, well, Jaws isn't like the book. Well, Jurassic Park isn't like the book. I haven't read the book for Jaws or Jurassic Park. But I did look at the movie and I was like, this doesn't look great. This sure doesn't look great. But like maybe it could maybe it could go like Spy Kids instead of Percy Jackson. Rotten Tomatoes 10.
10 tomatoes?
Yeah.
10 Stiegler tomatoes?
Like
that's enough for a salsa.
10 Rotten Tomatoes, if you will.
Oh no, I don't want that.
It might be safe to assume we're not getting the Artemis Fowl sequel. Because they really tried to make a franchise out of this.
I mean, it makes sense. It's a huge book series, right?
It was going to have like a big like theme park resort. It was going to have its own exhibit.
They should still do that theme park.
If any book series is designed to have the final book split up into like 3 parts, it's Artemis Fowl.
Have you read it?
I did as like a child. I don't really remember anything about him. And also didn't like him enough to want to see the film. We don't read here. We play video games.
Yeah.
I haven't played video games.
But yeah, that's Artemis Fowl. Mr. Scotts, how was your week?
My week was good. Thank you for the mister, by the way. I really appreciate that. It's been good. I spent the week playing a lot of the first Final Fantasy game. I recently have discovered that I think I'm a fan of those games. I played Final Fantasy VII for the first time about a year ago, just because it's Final Fantasy VII. It's kind of one of those games. It's like
you gotta play.
You just play it. Like that's why it exists. Like to be played.
Yeah, like most video games, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And then earlier this year, I impulse bought Final Fantasy IX. And I was like, this shit's really good.
That's not. I think impulse like implies that it was like a bad decision, but like I don't think anyone impulse buys Final Fantasy 9.
You definitely had to think like a few days about it.
I listen. Did I have the money to spend on Final Fantasy IX at the time? Only just.
Sure.
So I'll consider it an impulse. But upon completing that game, for some reason, I had the impulse to another impulse. I'm full of them. Not to like play another game from around that era, but let's jump back to the first one. And aged surprisingly well, I think.
Did you play like the OG version? Like which version did you play? Because there's a couple.
Yeah, full admittance. I played the iOS version, which is not my ideal gaming console. However, adds a lot of nice quality of life changes. So I'm supposed to say that it aged well isn't super true, but the remake aged pretty well. One has all kinds of weird inventory restrictions. Like I'm pretty sure each party member can only hold 4 items total, including equipment. So you're kind of limited on storage space, and the remake doesn't have that. The first game does have a really interesting magic system. You buy new spells from stores, which is not so crazy, but you can only buy them once you've hit a certain level, and the game doesn't like indicate to you what that level is. Like when you reach it, you just sort of a number ticks up. Mm-hmm. So you go back to stores and check every now and then, which I think is like maybe frustrating, but also I never once found myself upset about it.
Did the game do the thing? Because for the first, actually like a long time in Final Fantasy, they just numbered the magic, and then I think it was Final Fantasy VIII where they started giving like the higher level magic different names. So it's like fire. It was like fire, Fyara, Faraga, or something.
Yeah, that's about right. The original game does that, and it's pretty funny because it's like they're all restricted to 4 characters. So there is a fire spell, but it's like FRE2.
That's one of Final Fantasy 1's like one of my most started games. I'll start. I'll name my party. I'll give them all classes. I'll be really excited. I'll get to the first dungeon. I'm like, oh, okay, well, time to put this down.
Yeah, I think I feel that way about a lot of older games. Not that they're not worth playing, but just that you start them, and usually they start you in a pretty simple way, but then they open up real quick, and it's like, oh, I have to think to play this.
Yeah,
I'd really like to turn my brain off, but I can't.
Yeah, I never really got super into the Final Fantasy series, to be quite honest.
Do you have an idea why that was, or it just never clicked?
I played, maybe it was a poor start, Final Fantasy 14.
So I would say
that.
I did not either.
That's the one with lightning, correct?
No, that is not.
What?
That is 13.
Damn, okay.
I was confused why you started playing like the MMO.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like, and didn't tell anybody. That's like bizarre decision making.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got Final Fantasy 13, played like 30 minutes of it, never thought about the game again.
That is also not a very well liked game in the series.
I'm telling you, play the first one.
It's
so good. It's good. Okay, play it with a guide, obviously, right? Because it is old. Dre, what have you been up to?
I've been prepping to play a lot of games. Right, I've spent like half this week staring at my TV, waiting for the pre-order timer countdown on Last of Us 2 to just finally say fucking go ahead and play it. Because that's going to be consuming the next bit of my life, and I'm really scared to play it because I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about it.
I will say, in a world where every piece of fiction is John Wick, finally there's a game that's like Schindler's List. Which is a real review of the game I came across.
Wait, really?
Let me try to find it.
Well, hold on. It's not black and white. You can't call it Schindler's List.
It's practically black and white.
It looks a little 2009.
But I guess more pertinent to the discussion we're going to be having. Over the last month, I have fallen madly in love with the Resident Evil franchise.
Madly.
As in two of the games in the series are already in my top 5.
Top 5.
Yes, ever. I decided on a lark. I've bought most of the games in the series multiple times with the intention of playing them, but I just never did. And a couple months ago, I decided, you know what? I don't have Resident Evil 4 on my PlayStation 4. I do have it on my PC, but I'm probably not going to play it on my PC. I want it on my PS4. So I bought it on PS4, then just didn't play it. Until someone listened to the save room music. And then I decided, you know what? This song's pretty nice. I do own this game. And I'm waiting for people to edit my StoryArc article. I might as well start Resident Evil 4. And then I did, and I just kind of didn't stop playing it for 3 days.
You just went in.
Yeah.
So had you not played any Resident Evil game before then?
No. I had played the first level of Resident Evil 5 with a friend in middle school.
That's a level game? That's a level game?
All of them are kind of. Well, they're split into chapters. Right? It's a chapter game.
The thinking man's level.
Yes. And I thought that game was stupid as a kid. And you know what? It's I'm actually playing it right now, and it's still stupid. But it's a fun kind of stupid. And that's kind of most of the Resident Evils. I played 4 to pulp. And then 2 days after I beat 4, Steam decides to have a Resident Evil sale.
Oh no.
So I got 2 and 7, the 2 remake. And
the worst poker hand.
Man, Resident Evil 2 Remake is my favorite game I've played this year.
Wow, high praise.
Yes. It's I beat it twice in 3 days. I'm currently on a third playthrough. Who bought more DLC than I should have. It's a fucking like rabbit hole of time for me.
You're sinking.
Awesome.
It's just what I really have appreciated is just how many choices Resident Evil games are constantly throwing at you. Almost none of them have objectively like correct solutions to any of like the questions it throws. Like there's so many. They're just so like dynamic in terms of like thinking. I've been playing a lot of the other Resident Evil games, and 2 has like done that the best out of all of them so far. And also just like how diverse the series is.
Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of different settings.
Lots of different genre. Like they're all horror games to some extent.
Like they all just kind of have like their own like style.
Yeah. And like I'm playing RE1 Remake, and that's like almost Zelda feeling like explorative horror game.
Yeah.
And then I started with 4, which is just like this over the top like campy action game. 2 is like much more leaning into like the horror, but also feels more like a survival game where you're having to manage all these limited resources while also being like hunted. I played 6, which is awesome.
That is a very popular opinion.
It isn't, but like here's the thing: 4 is only a horror game for its first 10 minutes. It literally has a timer on when it stops being a horror game. 6 just never chooses to be one, and is instead one of the most fun third-person shooters I've ever played.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
It's like this insane third-person shooter with like surprisingly deep melee combo system. I've never done so much stuff in that in like one game. There's you're doing everything at like every second, and it's awesome. It's complete overkill. To steal like a Tim Rogers, it feels like video games, the video game. But yeah, and currently I'm playing Resident Evil 1 and 7, which are both, for being like the 2 games like the farthest apart, they share a lot of similarities. I think this month was a real good time to get into Resident Evil with the announcement we got.
Yeah, I was going to say, and that's actually a great opportunity to move into our main topic for today, which was the big PlayStation 5 event.
So, like, after all that, like, hype about Resident Evil, I just, like, filled you all with, GTA 5 is coming.
I actually, it blows my mind that they decided to open with GTA 5.
That was so funny, because, like, a part of my monkey brain was like, are we getting a new Grand Theft Auto? But no, it's just Grand Theft Auto.
I'll be honest, that's not a monkey thought. That's a completely reasonable expectation.
It was so because like you're all in this big voice call. We are all excited. We were talking about things we wanted to see announced, and then it starts up, and like it's the state of plays are jokes. State of plays are Nintendo Directs if you took out in all of the excitement or passion or interest. So when it starts up and I see fucking GTA 5, I'm sitting there and I'm like, God damn it, Sony. We all thought. And I understand why they did it, right?
Because that's a market.
Yeah, they want to go, hey, because, like, I think the show itself had, like, a really good flow.
Yeah.
And there's no real other place to put GTA 5 coming. So it's like, what didn't need to happen? It didn't need to be so fucking long.
It was long. It was long. It was like an ad for GTA 5. Like, I know what that game is.
It's ancient. It's ancient. It's a 2013 game.
It's an artifact.
I really played that game like 10 years ago.
You didn't.
Oh, I guess it's not that old. Okay.
But it soon will be. In 3 years, it will be a decade old.
Yeah, you'll be able to play 10-year-old Persona? GTA 5. on your Persona. I can't keep saying Persona. On your PlayStation 5.
It's like it's one of those games that feels like it's been out forever. Like, do you know Skyrim isn't 10 years old yet?
It's not.
There's no way.
Not, but it feels like it.
It might be 100 years old.
It's definitely 100 years old, but it's not 10.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. GTA 5 is coming out on PlayStation 5, as if it had to be announced.
It's GTA 5. It's the 5th release.
Yes. It's not.
Like, as much as it would be to the contrary, I think GTA 5 does like draw in more of a casual crowd nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I think this is going to be a good way. I think this will be a good way in order to like kind of lure in kind of that casual crowd for like, oh, you want more GTA 5? It's going to be on PS5.
It's going to be free on PS5 at launch.
Yeah, it's going to be free for PS4.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it said GTA Online was free. I didn't know if that meant the full game or if it was.
Is it or is it the online?
I believe in my heart of hearts that it's the full game.
If it's not the full game, it's definitely funny. I might be buying GTA 5 for $60 in 2020 when my PlayStation 5 releases.
Madness. So, do you guys want to go through this in chronological order, or just like as an interest?
I can go through chronologically. Just
I think chronological works.
Okay.
I definitely want to talk about the next game they showed.
Before you talk about the next game, I just want to say another problem I had with this live stream. This live stream is like an hour and 14 minutes long.
It was very long.
I am confident that 45 minutes of that are the PlayStation buttons twirling around.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. I agree with you. There was a lot of X's and squares and the like, but I must say, they looked pretty good.
Yeah, dude, that was all the ray tracing.
Yeah, that was all PS5 content.
Right. By the way, PS5 has ray tracing. And if you don't know what that is, well, it's ray tracing. So it allows you to trace rays. And
yeah, my buddy Ray.
And it has ray tracing and ray tracing.
I think in a true act of like revolutionary technology, it's going to have Blu-ray functionality.
Blu-ray. Finally. Sony's so funny every time it tries to push. Like, Sony's like a hardware manufacturer. So it thinks like everyone cares. but it's like, and like, I'm not sure why you would think people care about Blu-ray in 2020. Like, yeah, you didn't, I assumed. Thank you.
Yeah. It might be bigger news if there wasn't Blu-ray.
Like a PlayStation controller featuring buttons and an analog stick.
Adapted.
Hey, two analog sticks.
Two?
You two of them.
So the controller now has motion sensor again, and it's like I cannot believe they're still pushing this.
We're just gonna have to deal with that in our controllers.
There is one game I can think of that really utilized motion sensors in a cool way. Until Dawn.
Until Dawn did it well.
That was really awesome. Where you had to hold on to the controller, or else the bad guy will like see you and like kill you.
That is cool.
You had to like stay completely still.
Actually, speaking of horror games, the 3D audio, I think would be really, really good for horror games.
What does that necessarily like for my sound system, or is that like because they showed that off while they were like talking about the controller?
I would assume it would be like surround sound on your controller, practically. My
assumption is that it's if you're wearing a headset. So I imagine it would work for surround sound too.
Okay.
I would guess.
That's then in that case, that's cool. I didn't really know what that meant in the context of where they showed it.
I guess that's my assumption, because I think they showed it right after they advertised the great feature of the controller having a headphone jack.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, and 3D audio.
It has a USB port.
Yeah, you can charge it. You're allowed to charge your controller. You don't have to buy a new one when it dies.
That might be interesting. That's an idea they should run with.
It's a new mechanic.
Yeah. I guess that's all the external. Actually, I guess while we're handling hardware, what do you guys think about what it looks like?
It looks like the Xbox 720.
Sometimes it looks cool. Sometimes it looks like those Google edits.
Yeah, you definitely need to get it at the right angle to be like, oh, that's cool. And if you get it at the wrong angle, it's like, oh.
I worry for this thing so much. These panels. Listen, I'm a clumsy guy, and I'm also a heavy guy. If I accidentally step on one of these panels, will it snap? Will it snap on me and I'll have an ugly PS5? I mean, I guess I will always have an ugly PS5, but
I was gonna say.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely I had thought that we had all sort of collectively agreed that a black box is perfectly acceptable. No one would complain if it's just a black box. The Xbox got that. That's literally just a fucking black box.
Yeah.
But I guess
I would hope that they are going to be coming out with different colors on the horizon, because I don't vibe with the white.
I don't want this in a couple years to start looking like what SNESs look like now.
Yeah.
Where they're just sewage creatures.
I can see that. I can actually looking at the greenery growing.
I'm seeing asshole guests putting their drinks with no coaster on my PS5.
No, you don't have to worry about that because it's not flat. It's shaped like an S.
God, what is up with that? What?
I don't
know. So it's coming out with two different versions: the disc version and the digital version.
Yeah,
and the disc version has a booty ass on it.
It's got a butt.
Are y'all disc boys or digital boys?
I don't think I'm going to get the digital only because I don't like limiting myself.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I would say I buy about half of my games digital and about half of my games physical. I really enjoy having that choice.
Mm-hmm.
Because for different games, it matters, right? There are some games that are really big that I don't want to download because they take up a ton of space. But there are some games that are really tiny, and it's yeah, I don't care. I'll just download this really quick. Like indie games, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And to run small.
What I hope the digital version means is that file sizes have to be more reasonable.
Yeah, definitely.
I would hope so too.
Because right now it's we're in a weird point where no one gives a fuck about file sizes. Because at this point, I have tons of PlayStation 4 games physically, but I can't play them because there's not enough space on my hard drive because they have to download. Because I need to download my disc onto the hard drive, but I still require the disc for some reason. I just want it to be, if it's all digital, fine, it's all digital. But if I want to use a disc, can it all just be on the disc and I put it in and I can play the game? Why do I need to format my disc?
Yeah,
I don't want to have to do that.
Yeah,
it negates the point.
The reason I would have a PS5 is for convenience and to buy Resident Evil 4 again. Those are the two reasons I would get one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So please just have it be more convenient.
Yeah.
There's apparently the speculated price is $450. I'm not sure if that's apparently the leak I've been seeing going around. It's not officially confirmed, but I think that's a good price.
I'm not sure Sony knows.
They did not even announce it, which I think kind of holds up a bit of a red flag.
Insane. No price and no date either.
Yeah.
So this is the tough part.
This year.
The Spider-Man game, which we'll talk about in a minute, is coming out holiday this year, but it's also going to be a PS5 game. But GTA 5 also says it'll be at PS5 launch in 2021. So maybe Spider-Man is being ported to both PS4 and PS5.
Yeah, I want to know when this console's coming out, so I can plan accordingly. I know that probably because of the pandemic, it's probably why they don't have a solid date, because factories and such.
Definitely, yeah.
But I don't know. I think at least some acknowledgement that there isn't a release date or something.
Yeah.
Because right now it just kind of comes off odd.
That's why it's the Xbox 720. It's just it's not real. It doesn't feel real. It's coming, maybe. There are games that exist. There's
quite a few.
Do we want to talk about those games?
I think we do. So GTA 5 again. I think we're into second.
No, I think I think they showed something after GTA 5.
Gran Turismo.
Oh yeah, Gran Turismo. That game looked.
Fellas, Gran Turismo looked fun as hell.
Here's the thing. So I kind of have a conspiracy where the only reason they released they showed Gran Turismo at these kinds of events is to just show the hardware of the system.
Yes.
They do not care about how well the game sells. They just want to show, hey, this is what the console will look like.
The cars look like cars.
And they go vroom and they go fast.
Go fast. It looks I must say, they showed a menu and it looked like a mobile game.
Yes. I don't understand that menu. Yeah, that menu looks not fantastic.
There's really a little face on the bottom. I'll be your host this evening.
So here's my weird relationship with racing games, all of them. I look at them and I say, you know what? I would like to have a racing game to play whenever I feel like racing. But they're always $60. They look fantastic. And I enjoy realistic racing, but it's $60. I would like to get this game, but I probably won't.
I mean, you can Uber to the library for $20.
There's so many just fun, equally pretty games on the PS3 that are racing games.
I don't think they're equally as pretty.
Maybe not equally, but I do remember just games like Split Second and Burnout games are just very nice looking games.
I must say, with respect to racing games, I'm definitely more attracted to the Mario Karts and the Crash Team Racings of the world than the Cadillac Simulator.
Are any of you Mod Nation Racer believers?
I've never played it, but I kind of want to.
I never even heard of that.
It was PlayStation's kart racer.
Oh, I remember it is. Kratos is in that.
He is.
It's funny.
Yeah. It was the PlayStation AllStars of its time.
That's the game we needed at the event.
Spider-Man PS4 is getting a sequel.
Yeah, that was fast.
Or I guess it's more of a standalone. I don't understand.
Oh, okay, they had to confirm, because people kept thinking, is this an expansion pack? Is this DLC? What is this? And then for the day afterwards, Insomniac's Twitter was just saying, it's a standalone game. It's a standalone game. It's a standalone game. It's a standalone game. Proof? If you just go to
Source?
Insomniac's Twitter replies, it's literally the same tweet, copy and paste it. A ton of times. So yeah, it's a standalone game about Miles being Spider-Man, which is I want that. That's neat. I am intrigued on how they're going to do Miles' origin, if they're going to do the full thing.
Now, do we want an actual sequel though, or?
I have no desire to see more Peter Parker. I'm burnt out on Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We could just transfer Miles to just the sequel.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Just instead of just making it about Peter Parker, just make a whole sequel about Miles Morales.
That's what I think this is.
Okay, I figured it was like kind of like a standalone game, akin to like that Uncharted expansion we got.
I just sort of figure if you do Miles Morales, you can't have Peter Parker. Like around.
You think that there's like lots of like external media where they like do that, where it's like Miles and Peter, like they both have their origins, but is this a spoiler? Do I need to protect this?
What, that Peter Parker dies before Miles Morales becomes Spider-Man?
Whoa!
I did it. It's done.
Yeah. So I like a lot of media has it where Miles exists, but also Peter never dies. So they could do that here. I hope Peter dies.
I think I do too. I must say, I've never really been a fan of Spider-Man since I was like really little. I was never really all that into him, and I never knew why. And then I saw Into the Spider-Verse, and I think pretty much like every other person who saw Into the Spider-Verse realized that Miles Morales is like awesome.
Yeah.
And so now I like Spider-Man as long as his name is not Peter.
I just am not a big fan about how most Peters are written nowadays, and my biggest problem with Spider-Man PS4 is I found Peter Parker a really unlikable protagonist. So, Miles all the way. I hope when Spider-Man Miles Morales seems like it should be perfect for me.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't really think that hard. I'm just like, yeah, this is a Spider-Man character.
Yeah. Also, Miles has like a different like power set that should be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. They showed a little bit of his like invisibility power.
A bit of like his shock powers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see how that plays out. I hope there's less gadgets.
Yeah.
He just has more intrinsic abilities. Negates the need for gadgets.
Right.
Right, yeah.
And gizmos, too.
Gizmos and gadgets both removed. Replaced with weird electric blasts that spiders have. And going invisible. Miles' powers don't make any sense.
They don't, but they're cool.
They are.
Yeah, I hope the game will be awesome.
Speaking of animals that don't make any sense with technology,
wow.
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. What a transition.
Yeah. For this industry.
That game, pretty. I like how it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's about all I can say about it.
I grew up with the Ratchet and Clank games, but I kind of fallen off after the like PS3 era. I played a little bit of like Crank in Time, and I'm like, this is fun. I just not talk about it ever again.
That's full thought.
The last one was a kind of uninspired feeling, and this also looks like that.
It looks like a Ratchet and Clank game, yeah.
It looks like Ratchet and Clank. You have this like teleporting gimmick, which doesn't really do much for me, but I'm sure will seem cool to some.
I actually found that very disorienting when they showed the gameplay. And by the way, I'm very glad they showed like 2 full minutes of gameplay. That's cool.
Yeah.
He does this like grappling thing to like orange walls, and I found it very disorienting.
I could see it becoming something that you don't even notice, and it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like once you play it. But I don't think the effect itself. I don't know, like the whole like going like through rifts and teleporting, like vibe feels really underserved when you're just going around like normal Ratchet and Clank areas and you're only moving like 5 feet.
Yeah,
I'm very curious. Speaking of like how those portals will like function, like without like the different like fast travels and everything.
Yeah, maybe it's going to be like more of like a hub based like maybe there's like a selection of hubs that you can like seamlessly like teleport between.
That's kind of what I expect it to be.
Also, there's a new character. Confirmed to be playable. She's a female, whatever Ratchet is.
Blue Ratchet. They do.
People like her. She has a robot arm.
There is a lot of art of her.
I saw on Twitter character designers said that they knew there would be a lot of art of her, and they were happy that there was.
That's good.
That's a decision.
I think that's kind of
good for them.
That's what you kind of got to strive for.
Good for them.
Next up, I think
I don't want to talk too much about Ratchet.
Yeah, there's not that much to say. It's Ratchet and Clank, baby. Project Athia? That's how it's pronounced, but new Square.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I think it looks pretty, and that's one thing. There's a part where she jumps from one mountain to another, and it looks really fun to jump that mountain.
Okay, here's the thing. This would be really cool, but it's also a Square game with that jumping looks dubiously playable. It does not look real. Okay,
it might be press X to jump.
It might be a movie.
No.
And I don't know. Square has to do some delivering of games, I think, for me to get hyped for just a cinematic trailer. I just don't believe I'll be playing this until 2026,
Yeah.
That's the reputation Square has. Unless I see gameplay, I don't bank on it even coming out.
I think my affinity for Final Fantasy is just sort of making me unreasonably excited when I see the Square logo. I'm like, oh, they make the game with the magic in it. I like that.
If this is real, then the stuff seen looks dope.
Yeah.
But also, Versus 13 looked really dope in 2006.
I'm wondering if that name, by the way, is final. Because I read the last Square IP that had a temporary name ended up keeping that name.
I hope it's not. Octopath Traveler sounds like a name. This has Project in front of it.
It does have Project in front of it. I can think of one game that has Project in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, not a ton to say, but it does look pretty.
Yeah.
And hopefully it exists. Next game was Stray.
Oh, the cat game, yeah.
Cat game.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see how this will look.
So it was either Stray or the other kind of indie game they showed off, the one made by
Goodbye Volcano High, that one?
Yeah. No, it was the Fury people.
Oh, it was the Hyperlight Drifter people.
Either one of those or a Kickstarter, I believe.
Solar Ash, or this was a Kickstarter that we actually apparently knew about beforehand. Oh.
But I remember hearing that about both of them and it only being true for one of them, but I couldn't remember which.
They have the energy.
Yeah. Stray looks fun.
I must say, it looks like a thumbnail for a lo-fi hip hop video.
Yeah. I guess fun's not the word, but interesting.
It reminds me a lot of this episode from Love, Death, and Robots, where it's these three kind of lone robots who find a cat, and it's it looks almost exactly like that episode.
Yeah, I like the idea of literally playing as a cat, and it's just like a cat hooked up to some machinery. I think. Can the cat
combos?
Yeah, you beat up those robot people.
I think that's going to be a cool. Well, I wonder if you'll be communicating with the robots or something. Not much. It just kind of looks like a fun little indie game.
Walk around as a cat. Intrigued is a good word. That's how I feel too.
Yeah. You're a stray cat. Don't you see? Don't you get it?
Oh. Yeah. Next game that they showed was very different from Stray. Returnal.
Yes. Yeah.
That's basically the game, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Metroid.
As I said, Gravity 2.
It's Gravity 2.
I think this game looks really good. It
looks beautiful.
It looks neat. It looks like unique. I think it's a roguelike.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, that's what it seems.
Exploring an alien planet as like this like older like astronaut lady who's like constantly dying and coming back to life and progressively going more insane. It's just neat. That's just like a cool premise that gets me intrigued.
Mm-hmm. But speaking of, I really like that character, that design. As a protagonist in a video game,
she does look cool.
It's not something you see very often. She looks cool. She's got heterochromia, so she's like the Animal Crossing cat.
Oh,
yeah, I'm very excited for that game.
Yeah,
that's definitely a game that makes you want the 5th PlayStation.
Also, as like a third person action game, it doesn't look like most like third person shooters do right now. It doesn't seem like it's trying to go for like realistic motion or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like those little bits of gameplay. She's like zooming everywhere, and there's bullets everywhere. It kind of has like a bullet hell look to it.
Yeah.
I think we give that game a thumbs up as well.
It's got a thumbs up.
We'll move to a thumb based rating scale. That's nice.
Rating. Okay, Sackboy Big Adventure. What's your thumb?
Thumb. 2 thumbs up. I was actually talking to someone the day before the live stream. Where I was like, it's kind of weird how like little we've seen of Little Big Planet recently. They've kind of done everything they could do in 2D, but they haven't decided to like Mario 64 it up. And then like the next day they were like, hey, Mario 64 Sackboy game.
Yeah, it's in 3D. I think I definitely got more of a Mario 3D World vibe, I must say.
Okay. Glasses pushed up.
My glasses are definitely like, my lenses are touching my retinas right now.
Yeah, my glasses are pretty close to my face, I would say.
Yeah, it looks fun. It looks really fun. It looks like a really good multiplayer game.
Some like interesting like speculation going around because the reason it's like switched names, right? It's no longer Little Big Planet. It's just Sackboy's Big Adventure or Sackboy. I also it's not Sackboy's Little or
it's
Big
Sackboy,
Adventure.
Sackboy : a Big Adventure, not necessarily is.
Okay. Well, there's no evidence of any level creation here.
Yeah, in fact, it seemed like it's something that would be sort of obvious, but like Little Big Planet has that very sort of iconic menu where it just sort of pops out of you.
Yeah.
And I didn't see any of that, although it did seem to have like a custom character situation.
Well, there could be, because the people who makes Little Big Planet also made Dream, that like game maker. So maybe they've just decided, well, we don't really need like Little Big Planet to do our like game maker.
I mean, I feel like the concept itself is like very welcoming to like, hey, you can create your own like Mario 3D world.
Right.
So it's like I can't imagine they would just like pass up in customization for this, because I think the concept is there.
Yeah, I think it'd be a shame to like lose like a level creator, because I think like just going by how fun this game looks, I'd like to see what other people do.
I think I'm like 90% confident that there will be like a level creator.
I want to see the Kaizo levels.
Yes, Kaizo Sackboy.
Let me get it.
So, how many thumbs up? 2.
I give it a Sackboy thumb.
I'll give it 2. I'll give it 2 and a nail.
Gross. I'm gonna give it 1 thumb, not because I think it looks bad, but because it does definitely remind me of Mario 3D World, and I like that game, but it's not the best.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks like it'll be a good time.
I'll
probably pick it up. The next game they showed was very interesting. Destruction AllStars.
Yes, this is the one I'm probably most excited for.
Really?
Why's that?
I just think the idea of like Rocket League cross Fortnite is like ingenious. Like, I think as long as this game is free to play, which I feel it will be, I think I will pour many hours into this game.
I have like an irrational aversion to like video game quirky, or at least of the moment. There's like lots of like Overwatch clones, right? That Overwatch, but it's violent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I must say, I kind of got the same vibe.
But this one, I actually got. This one felt a lot more like charming, or at least like less cynical to me.
And also some kind of like vague parkour elements as well.
Oh yeah, you can like get out of the car, I think.
Yeah. Sorry, not.
I was just say there's one shot where a car drives like through like a razor and just gets sliced.
It looks so
awesome. Yeah. Very good slice animation going on there.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for this one.
Well, I don't want to cut you off, but it seems like you're done. But the next game they showed was definitely the game that I am most excited for, which is Kana, Bridge of Spirits. There's your subtitle.
Oh yeah, Kana.
I think this game, maybe it's just because full disclosure, I haven't owned a PlayStation since the PlayStation 2, and the only game I remember playing on it is DDR. So I've been much of a PlayStation kid. I was more of a Nintendo kid, and maybe this game just appeals to my inner cartoon game liker.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking at it, and I was like, this looks like Pikmin, this looks like Zelda, it looks like a 3D platformer. I really like this narration. It reminds me of Uncle Iroh and Aku. That voice actor's name, but that's who it reminded me of. It just looked like a good time.
I also really liked how this game looked. I thought like it has that kind of like kids game, but we've thought about the lore too much aesthetic that everything on Cartoon Network has, which is something I like.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing we can say all the praise we want, these Pikmin thing need to lose the teeth.
I think that the biggest problem is that antenna. I don't like the antenna.
No, their teeth are horrifying. And it was distracting, and the fact that you control like a horde of them, like I feel bad for sending them like on monsters. I don't want to subject monsters to these like furry teeth having creatures.
You feel bad for the monsters?
Yes.
They're like cute little dudes. I want a plush of them.
Mm-hmm.
They've already got my merch money.
I think it just kind of looks like PlayStation wants like a Zelda-ish action adventure game, but it doesn't like look like a Zelda ripoff.
No, not at all. It gave me Zelda energy, but I didn't really get the impression. It looks very much like it's doing its own thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's like Zelda plus Pikmin is like I think a winning formula.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. I mean, it definitely like it's got me like I really really want to play this game when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think it's noteworthy that the studio behind the game is like mostly animators, and they did a lot of work in the movies. That's what they said in a little opening blurb.
Yeah, they did,
and it shows, I think, because the game was just very 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 well animated.
It looked like a Pixar film.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Good Dinosaur Levels, maybe even.
Yeah.
Well, one can only hope for a good Dinosaur level in there that takes place in the forest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would give this game a thumbs up, I would say.
Huge thumbs up.
Give it a, yeah.
Oh, speaking of Dinosaur Levels, Goodbye Volcano High. That's the next one they showed.
Can I read out my notes for this?
Please.
Volcano High will be a joke for many years, but it could turn out to be interesting. I think that's
that's probably the best way to describe it currently.
So it's like
it's just like Animal Crossing cross Life is Strange.
I must say, I can't say I'm very interested in it myself. It definitely looks a certain way that makes me think it would not be for me.
Yeah. It's definitely just not my kind of thing. It's more like, obviously, it's going to be more story-based than most games in this event.
Mm-hmm. I like the fact that they had to try so hard to give the Triceratops kid some hair. Whoa!
Yeah, probably.
I just checked the trailer for it. The dislike to like ratio is insane.
Oh no!
This might not be surprising, frankly.
I think it's a little like, whoa! I didn't expect it to be as like negative.
I thought it would have pretty negative reception. I was watching it with the chat visible. There was a lot of L's, as it were, in the chat.
Yeah.
People got pleased with dinosaur coming of age story.
I definitely turn off the chat.
I think I'll give it a shot, just because I'm like interested in games that are this like divisive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the art style is I don't think it's like bad. I kind of want to play like see like what an adventure game, or at least like kind of like feel the atmosphere of it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it looks bad by any count. It just doesn't look like something for me. I don't think I would.
Right.
Yeah, I think it just you don't have a whole lot to say. I assume.
Right.
So what else is there?
Adventure game, Oddworld, Soulstorm, a new Oddworld game.
Yeah, that's something that like I wasn't expecting, and I don't think many people were. But
I kind of forgot about it.
There were like 2 people in the chat that was like freaking out. I didn't know what I was watching.
I know something I've been like vaguely aware of and minorly interested in, but never to the point to like watch or to play.
It always gave me the energy of like a game that you just sort of have and you don't know where it came from, but a lot of people have played it, and it's never something that I've really particularly felt compelled to play. But
yeah,
this looked pretty epic.
Yeah. It looked like, I know Oddworld's supposed to be dark, but this like felt like really dark to me, like way more than I was expecting. It gave me the feeling of something ending, which I think, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be like a big franchise like conclusion.
I think so. I think that's what it's going to be. It's like a big closure for this kind of this cult game, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, once he cuts off his mouth tape, it's all over.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been this interested in playing an Oddworld game.
Yeah.
I like how all the aesthetics look. The gameplay looks pretty fun, and the story has me intrigued. So
yeah,
maybe I'll get into Oddworld. That'll be cool.
Odd.
One mutilated thumb up.
Oh.
Well, that's what he does, right? He has mutilated body parts.
I guess so. I'm just gonna put my hand out. No particular fingers in play.
So what's next?
Next is Ghostwire.
Yes, this is also a game I'm very excited for.
You guys remember that sweet like Japanese lady we all like fell in love with that one E3? Yeah, this was that game she was talking
about. Yeah.
Eons ago.
Yeah.
Decades past.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks fun. I think the concept is really cool. I like the aesthetic a lot. My only concern is that the trailer, to me, seemed like it didn't have a ton of like variety. Like it seemed like it was
what I'm concerned about.
Fighting the same like Slender Man with an umbrella and invisible schoolgirl enemies like over and over. Which maybe I haven't played it right, obviously. So
you haven't?
Yeah, I actually got early access to all these games.
Oh, sick.
They all suck. Don't buy it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it might it's probably more interesting than it looked to me, but for some, I don't know, that sort of rubbed me the wrong way.
It's very it's a very pretty looking game, which I think is kind of my big appeal for it.
Mm-hmm. All the concepts seem like really like cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish I got to see more of like what it is, because like the basic gameplay just kind of looks like any kind of immersive sim to me, or it's like any like Dishonored or BioShock. The only thing is like you're doing hand symbols instead of firing guns. The concept has me on board, so unless I see something whack looking, I'm not getting off that board.
So, you're taking the dive,
right? It looks fun. It looks fun. I just kind of thought that this game could have used a little like a bigger trailer or a more like just a more revealing trailer, I guess. Still a lot of questions.
This is a game I expect to have very, very, very good bosses. And I would have liked to see a boss or two, perhaps, I think.
Yes.
Which makes me feel like a kid on a playground for saying that. But I don't know. The concept is such that like there's so much to draw on for your big, powerful enemies that I want to see what they do.
Right.
Yeah, I give it a big ghost thumbs up.
I'll give it one Slenderman umbrella up.
I'll give it a half thumb up.
Okay.
I cut off one like part of my thumb and then I place
a hey thumb.
Yeah.
The next game they showed was Jet: The Far Shore. I don't know what what that game was.
I forgot about it as soon as they stopped showing it.
Yeah.
I when I was going back and taking notes, I was like, "Oh yeah, you're in space. You're going in space. You're from like the planet's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
It's interstellar.
It's Spore, maybe. It's No Man's Sky, maybe. I don't know.
Nah.
Game.
Oh well.
It went under my needs more information. So I think
it needs more cool.
Definitely could use a little bit more cool.
Like a cool or two for sure, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of this. I guess this would be my thumbs down.
Yeah, thumb down.
Damn.
Just one.
Down thumb as well.
It can still recover.
Yeah.
Godfall, which they first showed that at the Game Awards, if I remember correctly.
Not interested.
Yeah, I wrote down boring.
It's so bizarre because if you watch that first Game Awards trailer and then you watch this trailer, they're so different.
Yeah,
this game. Okay. It looked like a mobile game ad. I hate to keep saying that, but it really was like you're a warrior and here's some epic music. It's like, all right, I'm gonna get gear.
The fact that it's okay, this would not like be such a turn off to me, but it's also Gearbox.
Yep.
So it looks like Infinity Blade and the game Epic released right before Fortnite. It was like a MOBA, but like third person and focused mostly on like melee combat or something.
No idea.
I forgot the name.
I don't think I ever knew such a game.
Well, there you go.
It just looks really standard, like kind of like Warframe, but fat. I think Warframe.
Video game.
Yeah, I'm not even going to give it any kind of thumb.
My thumb
down.
Thumbs down for Godfall. Tragic. Next, they showed Solar Ash. This is another game that we didn't really get much gameplay of, and yet I'm still excited because, as we discussed earlier, it's by the Hyper Light Drifter devs, and I really like the game.
It looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of all I said. This is another like need more information. Skating's neat.
I like skating.
I think every game in this lineup needs like skating.
Skating and colors. I like colors.
I like the colors. I like the upside down of it. I like when things
going upside down. Skating through like upside down areas and
Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, you're assumedly the daughter of the main character of Hyper Light Drifter and the main character of Fury. That's kind of what you look like.
I'm cool with that. I think I fuck with that a lot, actually.
Yeah. I almost got Nocturne vibes from like the Destroyed World a bit.
Of the Shin Megami Tensei variety?
Which is never like a bad thing. I mean, I guess if the real world started reminding me of Nocturne, that'd be a little bad.
Yeah, I agree. That I think that game we need more info before we can say it's like hype. But I'm even though I'm aware of that, I'm still hype.
Yes.
Hitman 3, in fact, is what they showed next.
Looks like Hitman.
Looks like Hitman. Hitman's definitely a series that I always hear is very good and interesting, and I cannot make myself want to play it.
They're very fun. They're extremely tight stealth game. What's the term for when you have a mousetrap and then Rube Goldberg machines. They're Rube Goldberg machine stealth games, and it's really fun. This looks like more of it. Cool.
I think Hitman is presents itself very seriously, but you can just make your own fun.
Mm-hmm.
You are a really serious-faced bald man, professional killer, walking around in a chicken suit, talking to a porn star.
Oh, yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, I got a barcode on my head. Are you jealous? I cost $4.99.
Yeah. That's kind of it.
It's Hitman, I think.
Hitman.
I need to get back into the series, honestly.
This would be a good time, probably.
Potentially, perhaps.
The next game they showed gave me Little Big Planet vibes, almost more than the Little Big Planet game they showed. Astro's Playroom, which apparently we all get for free when you get a PS5.
Oh yeah, those little creatures.
This looked really cool for a pack-in game.
Mm-hmm. It's like Wii Sports with a little juice in it.
Yeah, juicy sports.
Juicy Wii Sports.
This thing is so much more likable than the actual console, or the controller it's supposed to imitate. The robot. This guy rules. Definitely needs to be in the next PlayStation AllStars, which is definitely happening. It's coming. It's just like Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah. What?
Huh? Or 16. Whoops.
I was just say huh? Ancient. It's an ancient game by now. That's GTA 5 status. Next up, little devil inside.
Okay. This is one of my most anticipated games. I love this thing.
Does the butler poop?
The butler does poop. I don't know. This is also another Kickstarter game. And I don't know. Something about this. It just inspires this desire for me to play it. All these it seems like you're switching between playing a mundane butler man milling about his house, and this adventure guy exploring this fantasy world that seems to be inside this butler.
I don't know. It's inside really the butler. What? It's not inside the butler. It's outside. It's trees and shit.
I guess so. But then how does the bomb make him poop?
I think that was just a funny visual gag.
Huh. But then what's the little devil inside?
Oh.
Just a little funny devil person.
I think this
is Osmosis Jones.
You have to go defeat the inner demons of your own butler?
Yeah.
Fucked up.
Yeah, y'all, since we're kind of running out of time, should we talk about 2 more games, Deathloop and Resident Evil?
That sounds great.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, yeah. We give this game a collective,
I'll give it a little thumbs up. Inside.
Yeah. There were a couple... I'd say there's 4 big games left.
Mm-hmm. We can skip NBA and Bug Snacks, I think. I don't think anybody has much to say about NBA or Bug Snacks.
What are you talking about? NBA was going to get all my thumbs up. That's where I was saving all my thumbs.
They made him very sweaty. It was very cool.
Sweaty.
He was very sweaty. Good job, guys, on the sweat.
And Bug Snacks looks like Viva Pinata, and I'm down with that.
I'm not.
This game Bug Snacks looks like it rules. Everything's made out of food, and that's cool.
I like the food. I don't like the monster men. They're creepy. I don't like them. I don't like that the one's Australian. I don't like that the guy says weenie hands. I'm hesitant about Bug Snacks.
It's a little bit horrifying.
I don't want to become a vegetable.
Yeah.
In any sense.
So, Demon Souls.
Yeah, Demon Souls again.
Oh shit, Demon Souls. That's right.
This was the scream I got. This is the I screamed when I first saw it. People were talking about it. I didn't believe them. It's not being done by FromSoft. It's being done by the people who did the Shadow of the Colossus remake. It looks neat. I don't like some of the art style changes. I'm a huge Souls fan, so I'm a little protective of them. But I'm expecting a lot of changes, and I expect this to feel very different from a normal Souls game. But I'm also like incredibly excited for Demon Souls to be back.
It's aesthetically like different. Like if you compare a lot of areas, they made a lot of changes.
Yeah,
nothing that it like looks like a different area, but there's just a lot of stuff looks a lot more aged. There's a lot more like plants and stuff around.
Yeah.
It looks cool, I think. As somebody who has sort of zero connection to the original, very, very cool looking game, I think.
I think this is the most detailed any Souls game has looked. Nothing looks like this
right
in the series, and it's going to be neat. That's kind of all I can say about it. Oh, they ruined how the starting boss looks. He looks like a Doom enemy. That sucks. That's my only flaw so far.
Deathloop looks insanely fun.
I'm very excited for this game.
This is a home run of a showcase.
So this is from Arcane, the creators of Dishonored, which I don't know if either of you have played.
I played Dishonored 1 and half of Dishonored 2.
Okay, because it's very Dishonored. You like slide. You have the sword. It has stealth. It shares a lot of the Dishonored elements.
Yeah,
but the concept alone is just like mind-boggling to me.
So like the death loop is like you play as this man and he's stuck on this island, and everybody on that island is hunting him for sport. It's like that movie that came out
because he can't die.
Yeah, because he can't die and he keeps coming back, and he needs to kill like one guy so he can get out. But that guy's being protected by this other person who is apparently stuck in some kind of death loop.
Well, I think there's like an organization he has to kill, and there's like 8 or so people. Yeah. And so after he kills all them, he can finally like die.
He can fuck off.
But then there's this other target, this other assassin trying to kill him.
And you play as her.
Yes, it's like a multiplayer type deal.
I adore this.
It looks so new, I think. I think that's what about it is so interesting to me, is that it looks like such an interesting twist on like just like a single player first person shooter game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where like death is like actually like kind of the point of it.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't seem like it's gonna have any things that held back like Arcane's other stuff for me. Like to me, Arcane at its worst is like intentionally limiting you from like the fun shit they put in. Like Dishonored, to me, I can never truly get into it because they're like, here's a moral choice aspect. Don't use any of the fun skills we gave you to kill people. Well, but this like doesn't seem like it has any of that. It just seems like, hey, we've made a bunch of interesting worlds like to explore. Gave you a fun arsenal, a cool concept. Now have fun.
Yeah, kill people. Everybody wants you dead. You kill them first. Have fun.
I think with Destruction AllStars, it's like, yeah, turn my brain off and play. But for me, this is like my game that they showed, where I'm just like genuinely like excited to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, the energy and style.
Mm-hmm.
Looks, it's just fantastic.
I really like they had those like little brief like animated bits, and they look really really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like colors and stuff.
I really enjoyed the main character acting and his like attitude.
Yeah,
He was really wanted to get off this fucking island.
Yeah, he's like just so done with it, and he communicates that really well.
So next up, this is another one, Dre, that I'm guessing you're quite excited about based on our earlier conversation.
Yes. What wouldn't have been? This is my most exciting thing from the press conference, and it really wouldn't have been just a month ago. Resident Evil Village, not 8, Village.
Yeah, it's a sequel to that town game.
But the Village is also done up like a Roman numeral 8. So I don't know why they're not calling it just Resident Evil 8 Village. Whatever.
It's like a little epic.
They had to do that epic fake out title at the end.
This is like to be has the best trailer out of everything. Mostly because there's so much like in it that you can go over. This is following on from like Resident Evil 7's direction and has like a bunch of Resident Evil 7 characters in it.
Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan and his girlfriend.
Mia. Yeah,
he's like actually like very heavily featured in it, but you wouldn't know at first. And there's tons of like little teases as to what the story's going to be like. The biggest thing is that it seems like we're moving away from zombies. We're like the one enemy we see is a werewolf, like what looks like a standard enemy.
Yeah.
And the rumors for this game was that it revolved around witches.
It definitely gave me like sort of like an Eastern European like small town myths and lore and shit like that kind of vibe.
Yeah. And there's all these like allusions to like child rearing and childbirth in it. There's this like there's this like what looks like a primitive umbrella symbol, but it has like a fetus in the middle.
I did not catch that.
Yeah. And so it looks like this is gonna be like explaining more about like the founding of Umbrella, but with this like supernatural like twist. It's a weird looking trailer, but it has me incredibly excited. Like all the new characters that are shown up look really like interesting to me. The what I assume is the main villain, Lynn, like looks awesome. Also, Chris Redfield's here, sporting his third face.
Hey, Chris.
Hello, Christopher.
He looks upset. He looks upset. He
shoots someone. He says,
and then Ethan goes, "Why?
Why?"
Yeah, he wasn't pleased.
In the most Resident Evil way. Good.
The trailer is like beautifully paced.
Yeah, the RE engine is like such like a sexy beast of an engine. It just makes everything look like gross, but also like beautiful. I'm excited.
Is it crime? Is it crime if I say that I didn't think the trailer was very good? It might be my complete lack of Resident Evil knowledge, but I thought it looked very sort of dry and uninteresting, and also like had a low frame rate, which made me think that the game will have a low frame rate, which usually doesn't bother me, but it was very noticeable.
I think RE7 also kind of has like a low frame rate, but I would kind of argue that's more like a stylistic choice.
I would say I didn't get the bland feeling.
Maybe it's just because I didn't know it was Resident Evil, but I was watching and I was like, "Yep, this is Order 1886." It's just a spooky little game. I don't know. It didn't look like it had much identity, I guess.
Well, everyone has their different thoughts, and some people.
That's just your fucking opinion, dude.
Yeah. It actually is just a fucking opinion.
Yeah,
I'm actually insulted that you voiced it. Unvoice it, actually.
I should leave the village, as it were.
Unvoice it and give it 3 thumbs up, and buy it 4 times for me.
I'm very excited. Yeah, I'll give this also 3 thumbs up.
I'll give it 8 thumbs up.
I guess while we still have time, just very quickly, do we want to talk about Horizon at all?
Yeah, I think we should probably hit Horizon. Yeah, I never played Horizon Zero Dawn. I remember when it came out very close to Breath of the Wild, and I was really got quite into that. And so I remember thinking like there were a lot of comparisons between the two, sort of all over. And it always looked fun. It always looked very cool. Had a very cool aesthetic. And this game looks breathtaking, I think.
This is definitely like the PS5 like game. This is because Guerrilla is always known for fucking beautiful locations. This doesn't feel like just a tech demo. It feels like, okay, this is how we can use a PS5 to like the best of our ability right now to make like bring our image in like the highest fidelity. It's insane looking.
There's definitely a reason it was like the last game to showcase in this.
Yeah, they ended with a bang.
Yeah,
but it's also like, you know, Horizon's a cool third person collect stuff, craft stuff, fight stuff game. I'm not falling over myself in anticipation, but you know, it looks nice and I kind of want to play it.
Not my most anticipated game, but definitely like an anticipated game.
Yeah.
Oh.
A thumb up.
I'm gonna go with
also a single thumbs up.
Horizon Zero thumb. Not because it has zero, but because funny.
Yeah.
That is indeed pretty humorous.
Thank you.
Pragmata exists.
Pragmata exists. It's by Capcom. It's not BioShock.
It's a new entry into dad games.
Dad
games where you're a dad and you have a little daughter or son.
Might be an uncle game.
Maybe an uncle game. Definitely part of the same genre though. So kind of looks cool. It's weird that it's Capcom.
It is.
So yeah, this is the future of video games. Apparently,
future video games. Yeah, you guys have any sort of final remarks regarding how you feel about the fifth PlayStation in general?
I'm very excited for Blu-ray. I'm very excited for ray tracing.
I'm really waiting for them to sort of combine the two and give us Blu-ray tracing.
Blu-ray tracing.
I'm ecstatic for GTA 5.
Yeah.
Like I think that could really be something.
I feel like that's the game that people really like left the event with.
Yeah,
that's a system seller right there. I'm Mr. Smash.
But on a serious note, I don't know. It looks like a new console. It has a lot of fun looking games.
Now, how many of these games like had to be on PS5?
Almost certainly none of them.
Probably like 2.
That's the thing. Consoles, like more and more, are starting to look like that weird friend that you had at middle school, but doesn't really jive with you anymore. Not really sure why they're around. This doesn't feel like a big jump.
No, I this is definitely a situation where I'm kind of hoping that you get the PlayStation 5 and maybe you're good.
I would say Horizon was the first game where I'm like, yeah, this is PlayStation 5.
But also, it's like I see, you know, games on the PC can look like that.
Well, hold on. Let's not forget 2K21. That guy was so sweaty.
He was incredible.
I love the sweat physics.
You don't get that much sweat on the Play Sweat 4. You need to Play Sweat 5.
Play Sweat 4.
Play Sweat 4. I kind of, this, like, on one hand, I'm excited for it, but also on the other, if I like try and think about like consoles in general, it's starting to feel like we might need to wrap it up.
Yeah,
it's starting to feel like phones, you know.
I feel
or at least like phones have stopped innovating. It's just like, you know, you buy a new phone.
Finale of video games.
Maybe this isn't the future of video games, but the end of consoles.
They'll need to be consoled when they're gone.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our time. for this episode. So thank you
guys. That was our first episode.
That was our first episode podcast on the StoryCast.
The first storycast, story arc, storycast.
Whatever we decide to call it.
Yeah. I'd like to thank my guests, Dre and Luke, for being here today and chatting with me. And I'd like to thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thank you for hosting.
Well, I have the most, so it sort of follows naturally.
The most what?
Keep your eyes on the StoryArc blog for more insights. These fine gentlemen, and you can follow us on our Twitter at TheStoryArc underscores between the words, and we will catch you next time.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Yeah, and I'm about to go to bed.
Yeah, it's bedtime as fuck.